flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Finds all three trustees and fiscal officers present. You guys look over the minutes. Anything else, Ed, under old business?
Yeah, I went up to Spades and Bakers and I picked up 10 chairs, and I don't know what the steel rods are for. There's 2 of them, and some flag decorations. I picked all that up, and the matting, the grass carpeting, and I don't know what the big deal was as far as why I brought it here and put the chairs on the rack that he made with the rest of them, and I put the green carpet, I bagged it, I double bagged it, and I put it upstairs. It's out of the way. So I don't know why they couldn't just do that to begin with. But anyway, here's another situation. She wants to know, if we're not going to do anything with the chapel. What's that? Oh, is she here?
I am here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to just, I didn't know you were here. Did you want to?
Well, I filled out a little paper to talk about the chapel. Is this the time?
Well, I did tell her she wanted to leave right away. I told
No,
her.
it's all right.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
I mean, if you have to go, we can let you talk if you'd like.
Okay, thank you. I got here a couple minutes late and I didn't hear if you approved the minutes or anything. Did you approve the minutes here?
Yeah, we're all.
Because there's a couple of things, that isn't what I came to talk about, but under the cemetery, it said that on Saturday night we had probably 100 people here, and just to be clear on it, Mr. Kirsch explained to me about, signing up for building and all, but it was on Friday, the 5th, and it was women from the DAR, and I counted them in the pews. There's about 8 people can fit in the pews, and every pew was filled, so, it's probably about 50 people that were there, just so you know, but it didn't happen on Saturday night, it happened on Friday.
See, I thought it was Saturday around noon. When I got off work, I drove by there. I thought it was Saturday.
Somebody else.
Okay, maybe I was wrong.
That has nothing to do with me, but we were there on Friday for sure. So anyway, that was the first thing that I wanted to tell you, to correct you. Second, Mrs. Murphy, you sent me an awfully nice card, and thank you. And then I wrote this letter last week, and just to make sure I don't lose my thoughts, I'm going to read my letter because it pretty well says what I'm upset about, if you folks don't mind. Okay. In the late summer of 2014, I came to your trustee meeting and offered to provide volunteer service for the township. A historic chapel at the Kellogg'sville Cemetery had fallen in disrepair and was being used as a storage facility for materials and equipment. In my presentation to the trustees, I asked permission to renovate the building and turn it back into what it was initially intended to be, a house of God. You granted me this permission, and the chapel was cleared out so that we could begin our transformation. I worked for several weeks preparing it for the Harvard College Alumni Workday. The team arrived on September 13th, and much was accomplished. In addition, I have continued working on my own to continue those efforts. As I'm certain you've noticed, we have accomplished far more than we ever anticipated we would. Over time, the sad little chapel with mold growing up the wall was transformed into a sacred place of prayer, reflection, and peace. In November, when winter was approaching, Lori Watts approached me as I was coming to the cemetery. I was shocked by her question. Lori asked me if I was about finished and mentioned that winter was coming and she had a lot of things that need stored in our building. I told her that we had invested a couple $1,000s in our work and we didn't do it to make a fancy storage area for the cemetery. I reiterated that it was a house of God and sacred place. I suggested she store her things in alternate areas. Quite frankly, I was stunned by her suggestion. Why would we put that kind of work and effort that went into that renovation simply to make it a fancy tool shed? As soon as the weather finally broke, I began to work in earnest again, trying to get the chapel ready so the public could view it by Memorial Day. I needed to paint the floors so I could bring the pews in. I was working on them in another location where they were stored for repair. I needed to clean out the building so I could do the sanctuary floor in one paint application, I took the leftover drywall out. I had some drywall and ceiling tiles, and the ceiling tiles to the cemetery garage and marked them for trash. I also took a box of cedar shakes back to the garage, marking them safe for the future. Once I had everything moved out, I cleaned the floor very meticulously so it would be ready to paint first thing in the morning when I returned. When I opened the chapel door the following day, I noticed that there was dirt and footprints all over the floor. It was in the cloak closet I found the dirty box of cedar shakes, and of course, when I picked it up, there was more dirt piled underneath. I am hard pressed to understand why it couldn't have been stored in the garage or in one of the many other buildings on site, but rather than make a fuss, I packed it up and took it home to store in my attic so I could continue my work. Needless to say, I didn't get to paint the floor that day. I had to start over getting it cleaned and prepared. Once I had 2 coats of paint on the floor and had allowed it to dry well, I began to bring the pews in and attach them. By this time, the cemetery activities had ramped up and the crew was preparing for the anticipated Memorial Day celebration. I could see firsthand how hard the staff was working, and I did my best to stay out of their way. Still, I had not yet accomplished my work in the atrium of the building. I'd only applied the first coat of paint to that floor, and I intended to continue. I left the building for 2 days to avoid soiling the work and allow the floor to dry. When I returned, I was stunned at what had happened. The work crew had moved materials into the chapel to store them in anticipation for the Memorial Day festivities. There were several folding chairs, a box of decorations, 2 American flags, and some folded indoor-outdoor carpet. They had all been brought into the main sanctuary and left there. Some of the pews had not been entirely dry, and things had been placed there on them. Needless to say, the indoor-outdoor carpeting was not clean and had been dumped in front of the first row of pews where I was working. The stage was in place outside, and I thought that perhaps the next morning the crew would set it up and get the things out of the chapel. I was at a standstill because they had damaged the work I had done, and I had to wait to continue until they removed the materials. For the next 4 days, they remained in the church. I placed the carpet on a piece of protective paper and moved it to the atrium so I could finish the pews and staining. I stacked the chairs on top of the carpet and placed the decorations there too. While I appreciate all the work of your cemetery staff, I have to say that I'm deeply hurt by their insensitivity to the fact that I was trying to complete my work too. None of the things were ever removed yet by Monday morning. My husband and I came by about 8:30 to set up the chapel for the public to see. As I approached, I noticed there were 2 American flags hanging on either side of the porch. I had attached a special fixture there. Sorry. I shouldn't scratch my face because I'm half blind. I had attached a special fixture to the porch so I could hang a special flag there indicating it was a house of faith. Ken Hunt was there working, and I explained that I wanted the flag to hang next to the other. The American flag protocol is that the U.S. flag always hangs to the right of additional flags, be they church, Boy Scout, or another nation. I removed the American flag and placed it carefully in the back closet. Then I hung the church flag there at the chapel. I had some giveaway religious materials and also a booklet where the public could write prayer requests or comments about the reopening of this historic little church. I did not understand that the Heritage Committee would be removing the altar because there had been a podium in the chapel when the original furniture was removed last fall. I hadn't been told the committee needed the altar, and I didn't understand it being removed. I went home to shower and clean up and return to the service, and as I approached the chapel, I saw that my faith flag had been taken down and replaced by the other American flag. The altar was out on the stage, and my materials, which I had arranged so carefully, were scattered all over the front 2 pews. I didn't interfere in any way because I didn't want to disrupt the program or create a scene. I can appreciate their need to use the altar, and I would have planned differently if anyone had communicated with me about what they intended. But in regards to removing the religious flag I'd left hanging, I'm left both dismayed and affronted by their removal of God's sign. In addition, the continued mindset that the chapel is just a storage building will eventually take it right back down the road to disrepair. Treating the building as a sacred place only makes good sense. The Monroe Township finances are stretched beyond reason, and the upkeep of the cemeteries is problematic. I've been told that we have to use road funds to help defray the cost of cemetery upkeep and maintenance. You think that the cemetery staff would appreciate any attempt to give the township some financial help to ease that burden. Unfortunately, the cemetery staff seems determined to continue to see the building only as a value as a storage facility. It's unfortunate they're so short-sighted because the newly renovated chapel could indeed bring income to the township. Chapel cemeteries can be used in a wide variety of ways to generate income. In addition to the grave opening and closing fees that you already charge, our township could also set fees for the use of the chapel. While it could not accommodate a large funeral group, it could easily provide a lovely setting for a smaller memorial service. The chapel seats about 40 people or so. Cremation memorial services would be ideal in this setting, and families could even rent the church for their own service after the loss of a cherished pet. Many people look for a quaint, intimate setting when they're planning smaller wedding ceremonies. There's a chapel in the Erie Cemetery that does it all the time. My point is, it's simply a matter of marketing the chapel's use and making the public aware of its availability. One of the best ways to make that happen is to open the chapel to those who come and visit the graves of their loved ones. In the past year, many folks have stopped by to talk to me while I worked on the building. Many people have asked that it be left open in the day as a place to pray, reflect, and remember their loved ones. You trustees should set times for the chapel to be open and make the community aware of it. As more people see the chapel, word will spread and folks will begin requesting use of this sacred space for their special services. We've accomplished a great deal in our initial phase of renovating the chapel. There are still some issues that need corrected. The front doors should open outward and are in poor shape. They need to be replaced by steel doors that are appropriate in chapel design. The restructuring of the doors would make it possible to easily bring caskets into the building, to park inside the doorway of the front of the pews. The building windows also need storm supplied for weather protection. We plan to apply baseboard heating to make the building useful in the winter. These items are all expensive proposition, but it seems like something our team might be able to raise funds to cover. My intention was to bring the Hiram alumni team back in September to paint the exterior building, repair and replace the cross, and continue our renovation with the above-mentioned work. I believe in the past year I have proven myself to be reliable, committed, and dedicated to the task. I am happy to continue to serve the community in this manner, but only with the mindset that the chapel is recognized as a sacred building of prayer, peace, and reflection. The founders of Kelloggsville felt it was important to have a chapel in the cemetery. A chapel, that is what it was intended to be. It should not be desecrated. It is not a storage building, and it is disrespectful to teach it as such. Earlier today, I stopped at the chapel to assure that the materials had been replaced and that the sanctuary area had been returned to the sacred place I prepared yesterday morning when the crew tore it apart. What did I find? The chairs, flags, materials were all piled inside, including the indoor-outdoor carpet. I cannot continue to serve you if you are unable to instruct the staff to use other buildings for storage and honor this holy space. In light of what I've experienced during the last few weeks, I feel very hurt to see it disrespectful in this way, and quite frankly, I feel pretty disrespected myself. All right, that's what the letter was, and then the final thing I want to say, I'm really close to my 5 minutes, and I apologize. The final thing I wanted to say is about Mrs. Bobie's picture, because Ken Hunt talked to me about it that day, and other people have, but if you'll recall, I brought Mrs. Bobie's picture to a meeting, some time ago, and it was a picture, it was on a wooden plaque, and it was all sealed, it was all sealed up airtight in something like either glass or plexiglass, but it was inside of there. It was placed on the outside of the building on the north side, and that's the side that gets the worst weather. If you look there, you can just see that the paint and everything, that's a really bad area. So it began to cook in there, and as the wood began to rot, it made moisture, and pretty soon it was all wet inside, and the wood just, fell apart. So I took it to the shop and I had them make a new plaque for it. And by the way, when we took it out of the plexiglass little box, my hands could go right through the wood in the back because it was so rotten by what had happened. And they made a beautiful plaque for it. I didn't want to put it back on the outside without a plexiglass thing, and so I thought it would be an honor to bring her into the chapel. But it turns out Mrs. Bobby's family lives out of town and you might want to stop by and see it. And I apologize if it seems I disrespected her in any way. I did tell you folks at the time that's where I was putting it to keep it safe. But anyway, the plaque's there and you're welcome to take it and do whatever you want. I hope that if you take it back outside and put it on the building, you won't put it on the north side. If you put it on the back of the cemetery chapel by that back window, it would be facing where Mrs. Bogey's picture could look overall. Her graves are all back there. Or if you put it on the south side, at least it would be protected from the weather. But it's not going to last in plexiglass again because I've already seen what happened once. But anyway, I'd like you to tell me what you're going to do about the space so I can make a decision about what I'm going to do. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for not interrupting me. This is a scary group, isn't it? You were all real nice.
Actually, I'd like to thank you for your work.
Well, thank you.
That's what I was saying about the chairs and stuff. You know, they fit right on the rack and the carpeting's up there, and there's really no need for it to be over there, except when it's needed.
Well,
So,
before Memorial Day, they put the stuff in there so it's right there to set out.
Right.
But when they're done, yeah.
but anyway, I
Mrs.
went up and
Bobby,
I got it, and
that plaque, some of the family approached about that being on the inside of the building.
I know.
And
Mr. Kirsch told me that's fine, you know. It really wasn't part of the inside of the building that I renovated. I just did it as an extra service.
Well, I thought it was a good idea to put it inside anyway, but apparently, you know, that wasn't. So they would like it put back outside, where, somewhere.
I hope you find a better way to protect it this time, because that last way didn't work.
I know a guy that's good at that stuff. You want to take the task or not?
And by the way, you know, it said in the minutes that Mr. Kirsch was gonna come over and get that stuff out of my house, out of my garage that I was storing. But I didn't just take it out of my garage, out of the chapel building. It was like well over a week or more after, you know, they just kept leaving the stuff in there, including some big iron bars and so forth. Anyhow, I carried it all out to my car, and I tried to go to Mr. Kirsch's, but he wasn't home. He and Mr. Sherman were at a meeting. So I drove down and found Mr. Griggs's house, because I didn't want anyone to think I was stealing those things. And then I stored them in our garage. And I'd rather store them in the garage. By the way, my husband hates them in the garage, but I don't care. I'd rather store them in the garage than have to deal with them being in there so that someone just can't spontaneously come in and sit down. But anyway, Ed came and got them yesterday. I've sent him everything back, except the cedar shakes are still at my house. I saw that in the note and remembered I do have a box of cedar shakes.
I do have to tell you in the letter, I don't know who told you that information, it's incorrect that road and bridge money is used for the cemetery. We cannot use road and bridge money for the cemetery. We can only use our general fund, general current operating money to help out the cemetery. That's the only fund we can use.
Well, someone did tell me.
I'm sure someone probably did. They misspoke.
Yeah, yeah.
So we probably need to do something about the plaque. Should we get someone to make a nice case or something to maybe try to keep it out of the weather, or?
What do you have left to do on that you want to do
On what?
on the chapel?
Well, what I was going to do is, the paint's already been purchased. This September, when we bring the crew in again, I was going to paint the exterior of the building, and then we'd have to do something with the cross on the top. The cross, you can't tell from down at the ground until you get up there by it. but it's in horrible shape. It's got so much holes in it, it's all falling apart. And if you painted it, it would just make it all more obvious. So that's gonna have to be either repaired in some way or replaced. And the outside of the building needs done. Then, you know, I raised money with the pews. You know, some families bought a pew in honor of their loved ones. Of doing it because we were replacing the whole electrical system for you first. But we were thinking of putting a indoor, what do you call that, baseboard heater alongside there. And besides, if you look at me, I mean, here I am. This is who I am. I carried all that stuff out myself. You know, there's no reason why it couldn't have been removed. I removed it.
Yeah, we'll keep everything out of there. The
Thank
only
you,
thing, Mike, he didn't have anything unless someone brings up his name, then he would like to respond briefly. Okay. Bob Pixel.
I just had a couple of questions. When Debbie was here, she was talking about that building over there. I mean, we talked a lot about that picture, but you never really addressed her question. What are you gonna do to see to it that this doesn't happen again? Are we gonna dedicate that building as a storage unit, or are we gonna dedicate it as a chapel? And if so, we gotta print up some memos and give to the employees so this doesn't happen again. I mean, it's a pretty simple fix, but a decision has to be made by the board. And one guy shaking his head is not a decision by the board. Second of all, talked about replacing the spreader boxes on those trucks. To put a spreader box like you're talking about on that truck, the price of that 4 years ago. 4 years ago was about $18,000. And the only thing I never heard mentioned was where the money was going to come from to do either one, the $2,600 fix or the $18,000 fix. And before you can spend any money, you got to know where you're getting it from. And that's all I have. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Roger Curtis, health insurance.
Yeah. Well, I heard you guys, Chris got this letter when today,
Yeah, we just got it today.
and whenever Chris was speaking up here and handing out and telling me everything, she didn't address that at the time. Why did she have to wait for you to ask her about the insurance?
When we put that in new business.
Well, was it still a letter that came in across her desk?
No.
You know, it came here.
Yeah, we got it faxed here today,
Oh, fax in here.
because they had it screwed up down at Rochi's office. They thought he was mailing it out.
Okay, now do you have a copy of that for me
Yeah.
also?
Yeah, I can get you copies.
And I need a copy of the letter for
I got them over there.
over there, okay. The cemetery, like Bob was saying, I tell you right now, I think that if I was over there doing that work and it being treated like it got treated, whenever there was a perfectly good garage right in the back there, there's no reason why those chairs can't sit in that garage. It locks up. All that stuff, there's no reason why it can't sit in that garage. It's on the same piece of property.
Yeah, well, it was taken, right here's the best spot for it. It's out of the way. The stage, I believe, is down there. It's out of the way. And right now, this is kind of new too, the building being done. You know, next year, things will be, the stuff.
All it takes
there.
is just a little bit of respect for other people's work.
I know that, that's
Well, the
why I
time was never
got
got
it
back in, it was put back in after the ceremony on Memorial Day.
Well,
We didn't know what we was doing.
they always keep the chairs and that stuff in there for Memorial Day right there so that they can be set out.
Right. But the rest of that stuff, and I went in and I looked at what she'd done.
And as far as the flag, you know, who would have taken the flag off and changed it
I
out?
don't know.
Yeah.
One American flag over there, I would say, was probably enough for any American to,
I don't know
sit there and go,
anything
you know,
about
this is Probably well enough.
That's news to me, I don't know.
But now, as far as the insurance thing, that's a pretty easy, simple thing. Cut the insurance. It's, I mean, all three of you guys sitting right there, and it was silent for quite a while. Cut it. You guys gotta cut this right here, you guys can't pay that. Okay, well now they're gonna want insurance for them. Okay, it's not a problem. You want insurance for yourself, you're a worker here, that's fine and dandy. You get insurance for yourself. But your spouse, nothing. You know, it's pretty simple, pretty easy. You want insurance for if it gets too bad? Well, you know what? You're gonna have to start paying a copay or a deductible. You know, that's easy. It's an easy remedy. We've been talking about this for how many years? How many years have we been talking about this? How much money do you spend on insurance?
About 20% of your budget.
Do you need it, Chris? You got any more of them copies maybe these guys could get?
I gave them copies last meeting.
Did you guys get a copy of this? So now how much do you guys, now did you guys look at it?
Yeah.
How much do you guys spend in insurance?
Way too much.
28% of your budget.
More than anything else on that page right there, you're paying in insurance. What needs to be addressed there? What's one of your main objectives, John? Here, in your campaign promises here, that you told me yourself you did not campaign on cutting the insurance. And right here it is, in black and white, right here in your campaign promises, health care and insurance.
Now, you're putting words in my mouth, you're misinterpreting that. Read it.
It's simple. You said that you were gonna take and cut it.
Read it.
There you go. I would like for you to read it. You're the one that said it, so now you can read it. So maybe you're just forgetting what you said. I don't want to call you a liar, I just rather maybe you just forgot what you said.
This isn't what I was handing out when I was campaigning, this is something that was taken out of the newspaper.
Did you say that? Or did the newspaper just write that up?
It's a questionnaire.
Oh, it's a questionnaire. Did you get one of them, Chuck?
Yes.
Questionnaire? Oh, did you? Oh, okay. Did you fill it out then? So whatever is in there is what you wrote?
Pretty much, yes. I believe some things were shortened along the way.
Is that because it was like a government job?
Here's what I campaigned on right here. I don't believe taxpayers of Monroe should be burdened with paying for trustee health insurance. Cost of one trustee and spouse is approximately $30,000 a year. That's what I campaigned on right there.
Can I get a copy of that there then?
Why? Well, that way there, you should have already got a copy of this. I dropped one off at your house.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. I knocked on your door.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
Well, you can say no, I can say yes.
No, I know you didn't, though.
Well, I know I did. Because at that time you was living on 84 in a trailer.
Oh, yeah.
And I dropped one off in your door.
Okay.
If you didn't get it, then I don't know what happened.
Maybe I asked Ron, did you give one to Ron too?
I don't think so.
Oh, but you're so sure you dropped one off at my place?
Yeah, I know I
I think you did, you did. Now, why would you drop one off at my place?
Is this relevant?
Yeah,
Is this relevant?
Who's next, Ron? Can we move on?
well, as usual, I get cut off. It's fine.
Well, I know
I'm used to it now. It's a dead issue. The insurance is a dead issue. It's like that bridge, it's a dead issue. If you guys don't you sat right there and said right there, you need to do something about it. How long has it been? You ain't said one word about the insurance.
The voters did.
The voters
This
did.
is all about, the voters.
The voters said, it's because you said that you were gonna campaign, that you're campaigning on that right there. What have you done about it?
The voters answered it.
No, what have you done about it, John? What have you done for the township? What, I asked a long time ago, what do you work at for the township? What do you do?
What do you mean, what do I do?
Yeah, what have you done, physically done? Ed, I see Ed out mowing the sides of the road. I've seen him out with the dump trucks. I've seen Roger Sherman out there. Where's John Griggs?
You won't see me because it's dark when I'm up there. I plow snow for the township, I'm in the truck.
No, you're in a county truck. John, you're in a county truck.
Didn't I plow for Adams Road last year? And then I got my butt chewed out for doing that.
One time? One time in how many years, John?
Hey, I work another full-time job.
Yeah,
Is this relevant? Yeah, well, let's go. I think the voters have seen it. The voters have seen enough on your TV.
We got 3 workers that we pay to do the work, just like I get paid for doing my job at work.
And who's watching them 3 guys, or them 3 employees? Who's watching them? Not you, because you're working a full-time job.
What am I supposed to do, quit my job?
No.
You guys.
You've actually retired, haven't you?
All right, let's do it. Move on.
Yeah, doing your job, that's for sure.
Richard Wick. Who mowed, Wick Road a couple weeks ago?
Who what?
Mowed Wick Road a couple weeks ago,
I did Road West,
down by the bridge.
yes.
You couldn't see that.
What? The TV?
Yeah.
I had to move it, yeah, and I forgot. In fact, I think I mentioned it, and they must have forgot to pick
You
it up.
moved it before or after you mowed it?
Oh, I didn't know over it.
Well, it was mowed and busted up all over the road there.
No, were they done
Yeah.
since?
Whoever mowed it, mowed that
I did not
TV.
run over, I'm not stupid enough to do that, come on.
The TV's all busted up, it's still laying there where you mowed it.
The glass on the TV was intact, and the
Pieces all
plastic.
over right there.
Okay, well, somebody.
Scatter it up on the road when you
I
mowed it.
couldn't put it on the tractor because I had nowhere to put it, but I did not mow it, I wouldn't do that.
Oh, okay.
Well, don't.
Did you
the
see
way
the
you're
hole
saying
on that
like I
road?
would do that, do you think I would do that?
Did you see that hole on that road?
The hole on top of the hill? Is that the hole you're talking about? I looked and I could not find the hole. Where's this hole
I haven't
Next
seen
to
it.
There's
The
a
big
soft
mud hole,
spot.
right at the top of the
There's
hill.
a little soft spot.
It's
That's
actually
the
right-
hole you're talking about.
Right out of the end of that guy's driveway.
I'll tell you what, that is not a hole.
Well, there
I
ain't no,
challenge any of
there's
you to
no
get out and
stone
look
in that
at it.
hole, it's nothing
If
but
you call
clay.
that a hole,
Now this guy
something's
here,
wrong.
Scott, when you ride a bike down those dirt roads, if you hit a soft hole like that, you'd dump that bike, wouldn't you? Same with those
I
big
ran
chunks,
over that with the
same with those
tractor.
big chunks of asphalt that they graded up on Eureka Road,
We want this to be done.
you know, the maintainers.
I did.
I did not run over the TV. honest, I didn't. If I did, I could say it, but actually, I moved it.
So it must have jumped underneath the mower when you went by.
Well, somebody else could have broke it.
They had to. If it's broken, I set all that stuff in a pile so they can pick it up. Apparently, they didn't go pick it up, something broke.
Well, anyways, I see you put the stakes at the end of that pipe, but nobody power washed it out yet. And when are you gonna finish ditching Adams Road?
I don't know when we're gonna get to that one yet. We got a lot of spots to fix after all this.
Well, all you gotta do is make a phone call to the town, to the fire department, and they'll go out and do it.
Well, yeah, we're gonna,
It only takes 5 minutes to make a phone call.
they want more than one pipe when they go out. If you
Well, there's
listen to
probably quite a few of them out there that need done.
Well, if you listen to Jason last week, last meeting when he was here, he said they would like multiple pipes when they go out.
I
We're not gonna
understand
send
that,
them just for one right now. We've got, a lot of them gotta clean the ends out so they can get to them.
but they can only carry so much water in the truck per pipe.
And they don't need all that water for one
I
pipe.
don't know, when they did that one up there at Hilton and Adams, they just about used that whole truckload on that pipe.
It must have been a pretty long pipe.
I was there, it was pretty plugged.
Alright, well, when we get the other pipes ready to go, they're gonna do them all.
Well, the rest of those pipes on Adams Road that you guys are supposed to dig up and reset because they're not graded right, they're going the opposite way and nobody's done care of it. It's been a year now.
Well, they got more than just a road of pipes.
I understand that, but you started on that, why don't you finish it?
Well, because we got issues. Township, when you
Yeah,
have an
we
issue on a
we
road,
definitely
we got
got
trouble on it.
issues.
Yeah,
We
we got
definitely got issues.
Yeah, no, we do.
I'll talk to you later about that.
Yeah, I bet. Alright, Chuck.
I'd like to refresh everybody's memory. 2 years ago, when I was gonna put tile in on Rieger Road, you said I had to have my own insurance, and I told you you were wrong, and John Griggs sided with you.
And I came back and told you that I misunderstood that. and straightened it out.
No, don't lie now, because I went around and around on
If
this.
anybody's a liar, you know who that is.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mr. Kirch.
And,
Okay,
yes,
guys.
if you wanna call our insurance and ask them, go right ahead, go ahead.
Here. Okay. Okay. Ron Anderson.
Willie.
Ron?
Okay, you see it's that on salaries?
Yes.
I got, Chris's thing here that I asked for on the salaries, and as near as I can tell, when we negotiated a contract years ago, personal days or sick days was counted as money. Vacation was counted as money.
Yes.
It's not counted on here.
Well, yeah, it is.
Where's it at?
Because I considered theirs,
You figured their days.
I considered all the days.
Well, yeah, but this is a benefit beyond those days. I mean, they're getting
No, if you're
paid.
not working.
It's a cost. It's a cost to this township for non-productive time. It most certainly
Right,
is.
but I counted all the hours.
I
in the
understand
year.
that. I
So
understand.
they get paid for every hour of the year, whether they're working or on vacation or on sick.
I understand that. That's what goes on in this township, whether you work or not, they get
Right,
paid.
so I considered all that, I considered all the hours.
That's extra pay. When you negotiate a contract, yes it is. When you negotiate a contract with people, you figure out,
We don't negotiate contracts, so it's not.
but that is part of the
It's
thing.
part of what the county does when we do with the county.
But that's a cost to the town. It's non-productive
It's
time.
not an extra cost though.
It's a non-productive time.
She's got that figured in though.
It's already
her
figured
salary.
into the hours.
I know what she's figured in. She's figured in 2,100 hours or 2,080 hours.
2,080 hours.
Well, so
There
anyway.
isn't any more hours than that.
I understand that, but if he goes to work at his job and he doesn't get any PA days or personal days, and he gets no vacation, and I go to work the same job and I get vacation, I get personal days, I'm getting more than he is.
Oh.
Because he's going to work. I don't have to go to work. You don't understand that?
Getting paid not to work.
I'm getting paid not to work, he has to work. You don't understand that? Well, I'm not gonna go into it any deeper than that, because that's simple. That's simple negotiations in a contract. Vacation is costed out, any contract that
It's
you
not
ever
extra cost.
negotiate. We ain't gonna go there. Anyway,
2080 hours is 2080 hours, no
I
matter how you
understand that.
figure it.
I-
It's not an extra cost for anybody. I've already included all their extra costs in their 2081.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue.
Whether they work or not, that's
It's not.
irregardless.
Anyway, on this, I figured out, in Simmons's case, I added what she gave me, that come out to $68,200. That's what we're paying him. We agree on that, roughly. And don't get me down to the pennies. $68,200. That's his insurance and that's his salary.
Does that include burden?
That include what?
Burden.
That's total cost.
That's his total cost.
Yeah, that includes burden.
Retirement and everything.
$68,203. Now, that's him. We move on down to Ted, his total cost without the insurance at the point what it is right now. And we've already discussed what's gonna happen, more than likely, which I wouldn't blame him, but his cost right now is $52,200. So we got 16,000 disparity between the two guys that's doing the same job, just for the record. We move on down to Lori, she's making 29,000, no insurance at this time. At this time, I might say. If she's a full-time employee, which I was told she was,
No, she's not yet.
she's not yet. Okay, because I think you told me before she's a full-time employee. I think-
No, she
Well-
isn't a full-time employee yet. She's not.
Okay. Anyway, hers is 29,000. Then we do down to Chris's, hers is $56,427. You guys want to save money, and I'm not gonna hold you to John, but you did make that comment in there about trying to save money for the township. Whether you get into the insurance or whatever you get into. You know, we're spending a lot of money here for salaries. It's $150,000 a year, or $140,000 a year, like Chris's figures, for salaries. $110,000 a year for insurance. You spent $50,000, $60,000 for stone on the road. You're better than 50% of the budget of $400 and some thousand that we're giving out for salaries and insurance. That's too much. I'm telling you, you guys are not good custodians of my tax dollars, I'm telling you that. Somewhere along the line, and then we come, and Ed, and I'm not picking on you, Ed, I'm just gonna state a fact. Ed got in office, we come across the board with $1 an hour raise for everybody. There was another guy that got $2 an hour, but eventually Roger cut that out. But to get to the short of it, everybody got $1 an hour raise, basically 3 years ago. And then, at the beginning of this year, we're hard up on money, we give everybody a 50-cent an hour raise. In some cases, that was a 15% raise for 3 years. There ain't anybody, bar none, that wouldn't jump at a 15% raise. I think if you guys are trying to save money, you're gonna have to show me different than what the hell I'm reading here. It's not in the proof of what you guys are doing. I'm sorry, it's not in the proof. You're not cutting, like Roger said, you haven't done nothing about the insurance. You're gonna be forced to do something. You're gonna be forced, because before long, at the rate we're going here, and I don't hold nothing against Ted, and I wouldn't blame him a bit. He's gonna jump on here and he's gonna want it, and before long, you ain't gonna be able to do anything out here on the roads, because we're gonna have 7 people here living off the tax dollars of this township. You admitted this is a part-time job that you guys hold.
Yeah.
We're spending a lot of money, Roger. Spending an awful, awful lot of money that, you know, you're coming to the taxpayers, and I'm gonna tell you this for me. I will not back a levy for anything in this township, whether it's a renewal or not, unless you guys, the 3 of you guys up there, show me that you're willing to do something different than what's being done. And you haven't showed me that yet. Show me. Show me how you're trying to save. You know, you're contracting out to the county. We got 3 people on this damn township. We used to have 2 for years. We got 3 people now. And we're contracting out the ditches. We got 2 backhoes. You got a broke down back. Oh, we can't do anything. Then one guy says, we'll go over and work on Richardson Road on a Saturday, and we'll take one of the road guys over to help me for time and a half. Now wait a minute. What's wrong with that situation? We got 3 people here for 40 hours a week. 2 of them are on the road guys. Come on, take them guys over and let them do that. I mean, come on, let's be serious. Old business, per diem. I would like you guys to come across and tell me your feeling on per diem, because I feel that's the way this township should go. I know, Roger, you said you don't feel you have to work, and obviously you didn't show me anything yet where it said you didn't have to. And John's thing at the paper he put there that he feels that he had to work for the benefit of this township. I'm using the word work, John, that's what you use. I think per diem is the way to go to get my $12,000, $10,000, $11,000 out of each one of you guys.
I'd have my 200 days in 6 months.
That'd be it.
You got time cards to prove that?
Well, I'm not gonna.
I'm here every day.
It's what you asked me a few meetings ago.
I've been here every day. I'm here every day.
Roger, I'm not gonna dispute that with you. I'm not gonna argue that 1 minute with you. But I am gonna tell you this much, when you've got people sitting here for an hour in the morning that have been on a job for 20 years, there's no excuse that they're not overdoing their job that they know. And by the way, when I look right down here at the end of the road, guess what I saw down there, John? I saw 2 county tractors down there. I bet you I can drive in this township wherever our guys left off. I bet there ain't nothing left there. And one guy campaigned on that very issue that they wouldn't be driving that stuff back and forth to the job. And they're doing it today. There's no excuse for it. Right down there is 2 tractors right at the end of the road here. Why can't we do that? Why do we have to wear the tires off the
We have
backhoe?
some of it, yes. I left the grader out on Beckwith and stuff, and we're out the far end of the township, we leave it there. Every other day we gotta fuel up the,
I've seen them guys drive from Beckwith Road to come back for lunch. Each one of them driving the vehicle.
I don't know how it's,
Well, I'm telling you the truth, that's what goes on. You know it, I know it, and that's BS. We gotta save money, Roger. I'll be honest with you, just like I said, I'm not backing no tax levies whether renew or not. If you guys can't show me where you're trying to save, and I don't see where you are. And that's my old business, is I wish you'd vote on per diem so I can see how the 3 of you stand.
okay, is that all you have, Ron? Alright, thanks. Martha,
Yeah. I want to know how much on your hospitalization. Do you pay 100%?
yes.
100%.
Because you're nice.
Yeah, hey, you got it great, guys. I taught school for 35 years and couldn't get that.
Yeah,
My God, I'm retired and I'm still paying for my own supplement. I'm on Medicare.
I don't know when it was started, but it was started a long time ago.
That's outlandish.
It is.
And
That's something you guys could look at too.
yeah, you can look at that, when you sit down with a committee or get enough people together to see what you can do. To at least cut someplace, because all we're doing is cutting the throat of a nice little township that is a pretty big township, and people would like to take pride in what they have.
Well, the 3 trustees that's sitting up here right now, we came into this. This was voted on before we ever got in office.
Then you're in office now, then you vote on it and you take care of it. It may not make you popular, but my God, I'm not the most popular female in council, but my God, they're afraid
Oh,
of me.
yes, you are.
They're afraid of me, I guarantee you.
Don't say that to humor either.
No, that won't humor me at all, think with that. But if you look,
I didn't hear what she said.
is the drug,
Yeah, that's part of it.
No, they get a drug card too.
they get a drug card too?
Why
Oh,
not
yeah.
find an insurance that includes your prescriptions?
Oh, yeah. They got a nice package. I can
Yeah.
tell you that right now.
Because I don't know anybody else's personal business, but any place I've worked, I'm young, okay, not like some of y'all here, I'm young, wet behind the ears, but I've always had to pay. Hey, I worked for the federal government, and I had to pay a portion of my health insurance. There's no reason why it's something that can't be looked into. Even a little bit would help you get stuff you need for the roads, you can't always make a big cut, but a bunch of pennies will add up eventually.
I work in Pennsylvania. If I resided in Pennsylvania, I wouldn't even have to pay tax on my retirement. But I picked to live in Ohio and I pay Ohio taxes.
Now this is the same with the insurance. I've been hearing Roger here and Anderson over here bring up his insurance. Now, it dates back, I went back to, October 28th, 2014. Sherman's looking at it. May have to pay out of pocket. November 25, haven't had time to check. December 9, looking into it, haven't decided what to do. December 23, talk about a little cut. March 24th, haven't done anything yet. April 28th, haven't done anything yet. May 12th, haven't done anything yet. Going to work on it. Well, this has been going on for at least 2 years because there was a campaign promise made by a couple candidates. And one of the
Can I say something, interrupt you for a second? This has been going on
Well,
way longer than 2 years.
yeah, I know, but the cost hasn't been like it is today. And Roger, in here, you commented that, I find it here.
Exactly.
Because I have the time, got it in here. I will have the time and knowledge to serve the township and address any issues that may arise. But then when it's brought up before you on this, insurance, and I had to comment, I can go back in a minute and bring it out, that you haven't had time. But you campaigned on you had time. Now when I got into this and started doing some checking, Mr. Anderson's right on his figures here. But then I went a little further and I found out that the cost of our insurance is $110,000, it's 24% of our income. Just the insurance alone, 24%. Now, the insurance and the salaries account for 55% of our income.
Okay.
Material for roads is 19%. Now, I see in last meeting that you decided you couldn't pave Rigger Road because you didn't have the money. Well, I'm going to tell you something. At 19% of the income to this township is only put on material for the roads, you are never going to have money enough to pave any of these roads. Never. Never.
Let me ask.
I called John Meade at the auditor's office.
Okay.
I says, what's the county pay their insurance for their employees?
Okay.
I said, what's the percent of cost for your income? 7.5%. I told him what ours was. He couldn't believe it. He said, man, you guys are way out of line. I said, I know it, that's why I'm calling you. The county has a premium package, and this is a family plan for their employees. The average cost per employee is $18,000. The county picks up $15,000, the employee picks up $3,000. Kim, working for the government, got to pay part of her insurance. Anybody that's worked in here, that's worked in a factory or anything, has had to pay part of their insurance. There's no freebies out here, and when you're paying $110,000 a year for 2.5 employees, or thereabouts, and John could not believe this. Now, he says, there's a lady over there in the auditor's office, Lauren Davis. I'm going to give you the phone number.
Alright, hold on.
576-3747. He says he thinks that she might be able to help you guys out in straightening out what you screwed up over here.
Can I comment on that?
You comment whatever you want. I'll have
This
an
insurance was set up when you were in office,
That's right.
and it had to have been paid 100% when all you other guys were in office,
That's right.
okay?
And
I've
I'll
only
tell
been-
you, and Chris will verify this.
I've only been in.
I went to work on that insurance when the price kept going up. And we left and we switched to principal. And we saved 25% on our insurance by going to principal. Then about 5 years later, they kept itching the premiums up, so we left them and went with a different company. But I was out there on top of this and I was searching all I could. And I was trying to save the township money. But at that time, 24% of our income was not going to health insurance. It is now, but it wasn't then.
How many employees did you have on it then?
We had, Mauer and,
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
well, before Okie, what's his name over here? On the middle road. Anyway, yeah, we just had two guys. And when I come into office, we was taking the road guys 2 days a week and putting them in the cemetery to get the cemetery to where it looked halfway decent. So I said to the other trustees, I said, you know, it would be nice if we had somebody to take care of the cemetery. Let these guys spend 5 days a week on the road. So I didn't know Lori at the time. I knew she was living there, she was a divorcee, she had a couple kids, and I didn't know what she'd done and all. So I stopped and I said, hey, you live right next to the cemetery. I said, would you like a job mowing the cemetery? She said, well, I'll try it. So she tried it for a month and I said, yeah, she'd do it. And she was a good worker. And she done a good job for us. But since then, since she's in charge of the cemetery and all, it's kind of went to her head. And Debbie Fazenbaker was giving you a good example. We can come to these meetings and we can tell you about your employees and what they're doing. And you guys don't have enough time to go out there and find out what's going on. We tell you and nothing is ever done. So she's just gonna grab the old reins and she's gonna go full tilt. And you're gonna get some more complaints. Now, he said he's not going to support any levies. I tell you, I think you people are in deep trouble on these renewals this year. From the comments that I've been hearing, they've been watching all this on Facebook. They're seeing what's going on here. Nothing is being done. And I'll tell you, if these levies don't pass, you're going to be in more trouble. And it's going to only be because we have a non-functional board of trustees in this township. You're over here every day, Roger, but the minute that you leave, they're out here to do their own thing. Checked on them. When I was in office, we saved up a little bit of money. We was able to build this building right here without a tax levy. We continued to take care of the roads, and we got a nice building here. You don't have hardly enough money to even maintain the roads, let alone building anything. You can't even afford to build a garage at the cemetery, which you need. I'm telling you guys, I'm talking and I know it's not gonna go nowhere, but it's all gonna be on Facebook. You guys have got a lot of work ahead of you, and this per diem deal, if you guys are interested in saving the township money like you campaigned on, you would jump onto that right now. Why should somebody not get paid or get paid for not doing any work, for not doing anything for the township?